good, Sarah? Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Committee of the Whole meeting of the Village of Walton Hills, Tuesday, November 17th, 2020, at 7:04 p.m. This meeting is being live streamed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. You can find that connection on our website. We are following Substitute House Bill 197 provisions that relate to public meetings and hearings during the COVID-19 pandemic. And called it to order. Second order of business is roll call.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Oh, maybe I should do that after. I apologize. Excuse Mary.
Either way. Okay.
It's up to you.
Do roll call, then do Mary.
Thank you.
Councilman Linville.
Present.
Councilwoman Allen.
Here.
Councilwoman Terlasky. Here. Councilman Spitznagel.
Here.
Councilman Whedon.
Present.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Spitznagel.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mary Brenner Miller from tonight's meeting.
Second.
Second by Jennifer Allen.
Councilman Linville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen.
Yes.
Councilman Terlasky.
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon.
Yes.
Motion to excuse Mary Brenner Miller passed.
5-0.
All of council, besides Mary, present. Okay. Any comments related to the agenda? No? And you can also make comments throughout the meeting by typing in. We do see them, and then we can answer them, and you can hear our answer on YouTube. Okay? Does anybody want to make some motions to approve some minutes?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the COW meeting minutes of November 10th, 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gloria? Okay.
Councilman Linville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky.
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon.
Yes.
Okay, a few minutes passed.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the COW meeting minutes of October 20th, 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Linville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky.
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon.
Yes.
Okay, those minutes passed too, 5-0. Thank you. Is there a motion for the September 15th meeting minutes?
Mayor Colgraf, I move that we would accept the minutes, COW minutes from September 15, 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Linville.
Councilman Linville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky.
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon.
Yes.
Okay, minutes passed, 5-0. Is there a
Mayor.
motion for the
Mayor.
September? Go ahead,
I'd
Dan.
like to make a motion to accept the COW meeting minutes of September 8, 2010.
Oh, that's an error there.
Oh, that is an error,
Just
sorry.
change the date, the year.
September 8, 2010.
2020.
2020.
That's my
Or
error.
2020, yeah.
Taking
yeah.
us back in time.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Second.
Is there a second?
I take
Okay.
everything.
Councilman Linville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky.
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon.
Yes.
Okay, COW meeting minutes of September 8, 2020 passed, 5-0. Thank you, everybody.
All of them.
Okay. Item 5, I know last week we touched on the report 52 and starting to look at the budget process, and we're kind of in the same place. Angela started going through it. I did ask the department heads to start putting their budgets together. I would like to invite them to our first COW meeting if everything goes right, you know, if everybody has their budget together. So that would start that first COW meeting, which is December 1st, correct? Isn't it?
Yes.
December 1st. So, but with that said, we thought we'd start, kind of, Angela was gonna start going through the budget and some of the things.
Excuse, I'm gonna grab my report 52.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, that's fine, yeah, that's fine. No, that's fine, that's fine. Okay. Well, while Angela's grabbing some more information, item 6, the zoning positions. As you know, Friday the 13th was the last day that the village was accepting of, and we didn't receive any more after that. So we have the 4 that you received, everybody's resume or letter of interest. Didn't necessarily have to be a resume, it just needed to be a letter of interest. And with that said too, that's fine. And we can come back to this when we go back, but just with that said, I'd like to bring them in, that meeting too, on the 1st. For just, you know, kind of like what we did with planning, and I think we did 10 minutes apiece. We don't necessarily, you know, we'd have to make a decision at that time, but I thought it'd be good just to bring them in, give them a chance to talk to us, as we have in the past, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. So that would be a week from next Tuesday coming up. So a little over a week. I'd be able to give them notice then too, you know, if everybody's okay with that.
What was that date again?
December 1st, first Tuesday in December will be our COW.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
when do we have to have that position filled by, or are we already past?
No, well,
Just
here's
ask
how
that.
I look at it. I might be past my days of making it. Council still has to confirm it. So, and I'm good with, how we've been doing it, and I kind of like the idea instead of I'd like to interview all 4. Before interviewing all 4, I don't have anything, you know.
No, I appreciate that and
You know what I
stuff,
mean?
but,
So
yeah, but I was just
we're-
curious if we were already past the initial
I'd have to
90
look,
days.
I'd have to look at
That's all.
that. I wasn't too concerned about it, because thought we'd kind of make it all together. You know, all agree on it together, so,
I appreciate that.
so. I'd have to look, Jeff, I think it's in there, it's written there. I don't remember if it's 45 days or 30 days for the vacancy, might be 45. And if the mayor doesn't make the appointment, then council makes the appointment. If they don't make it, then,
Then it goes back
then
again.
it kind of goes
Yeah.
back and forth. But the appointment still needs the confirmation too, so. So I'm glad we have 4 good candidates, it looks like, to choose from, so that's a good thing.
Well, we could just throw names out of a hat and get the best candidate, I think. You know,
I think you're right, Denny, I don't think we can go wrong with any of them. I agree with you there. So, I kind of skipped, we'll go back to the budget, and so you grab what you needed, and
I grabbed 52. I don't know if anyone
Right.
has other questions from last week or concerns. All that I've been able to do so far is go through, today I went through the revenue side, because obviously that's the easier piece of things to do. So, so tomorrow I'm gonna look at expenses, so I can go in and try to just assess things that are kind of everyday items. And then hopefully have input from the chief, Natalie, Rob, soon, so that over Thanksgiving I can have this worked on, so we have kind of a preliminary draft to go from when they come in to speak to us. and then that way we can tweak it from there.
Did you want to go over what you've kind of gone over? Did you want to go over the revenue a little bit, or any?
I don't have it printed for you, like I'm still in the
Okay.
middle of it.
That's
I was
fine.
in the middle of it today, like.
No, that, and I kind of felt that, but we were gonna have the meeting, and I just wanted to get things out there, and if there's any questions or anything that we as council want, in the budget, or anything that we need specifically looked at, or some things, I thought one of them, and I just say, just right off the bat, instead of laboring it at a meeting, is community day.
Oh,
I would
correct.
say not even
I did
put
not
that, I know last, I know when we end up having, the, recreation community life director here, and we go over the budget, we spend a lot of time on that. So that's something, and with, looking at the future and being in COVID-19, I don't know, I would think that was something that we can put in the budget. And if something were to change for the summer, we could always make an appropriation. That, I wanted to throw that out, that's like a thing maybe, instead of laboring that at, our COW meeting, I kind of, the way that things are going, I don't know, not having it for the year is not a bad thing, even just looking at that.
I would agree with that, Mayor.
I will be very conservative, so better to not put it in, and if something great happens and we can add it, that we can always,
Right.
amend. That's something, yeah. Obviously, just, waiting to see what departments need, salaries, they will be what they are, barring any changes, once the CBA agreement is done.
Right.
But, I will be as conservative as I can on incidentals. I know right now, because of COVID, everyone was pretty tight on their spending. So I'm gonna take a look again. I printed a while ago and took a look, and I'm gonna take another look just to go over with the department heads where they were at with line items, and if there is anything that maybe they didn't, or were not able to shore up and keep tighter this year, to see what the, how we can address that next year. I know Stan said, I think that they're looking to possibly have 3 new vehicles next year, so that's a thought that's out there, whether,
Right.
yeah. Service might be okay for a while. I haven't talked to Rob, but I think maybe they might be okay for next year since they just got 2 new vehicles. So, yeah. Our road projects are gonna be our big ticket items.
And I think with the service, not just the service director, but with all the department directors and the chief, I'm asking them to be very conservative due to the pandemic, and we'll really see where we're at, as this moves forward. So I think having a very, very conservative budget, so they're really gonna have to look at what is really needed and what we can get by without, like we always do, but I want them to be ready for that, if we go through it. Really, basically, no fluff in the budget. That's kind of where we're gonna be, because we don't know next year really where we're gonna.
We don't. When I was doing revenues today, I was, being more conservative on as I've mentioned in the past, that I would be with the individual income tax returns in case we did have residents that were laid off. Right now, we're sitting in a very good position over what we budgeted for individual income tax income, but, and then also the net profit income. I dropped that down a little bit for what I expect on the income tax side. Maybe even drop the JUD a little bit too, based on where we're at right now over last year. Although I don't think the JUD has suffered too much in terms of their regular income that's coming to us. I don't see many places where we would lose any revenue. When we have gasoline excise tax and auto registration taxes and things like that, in the past, we have not put a number in there that we expect to get. So we will stick with that, because some of those have come down this year as people were not driving as much and not able to go register their vehicles during COVID. So again, we utilize those monies, but they're kind of like a little bit of a blessing. So I know that there's been talk about local government fund money between the state and the county, probably maybe, a little bit less next year. So those are things that we don't normally put a number in for at any rate, so that we're not, you know, it's not gonna affect us negatively where we have to adjust our speculation down for that. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Mayor?
Yes, go ahead, Brian.
Angela, how much of our debt are you planning on paying?
we're paying off 200,000, so last year's note was 1,495,000, this year we took 1,295,000. We're paying down 200,000 this year. Mhm. And then I was looking to see what I'm gonna budget for next year, so I may go a little less again next year. The previous year we did 1 million, I think, 1,450,000. So, yeah, so I'm gonna try to find a sweet spot in there for what we'll pay off next year, and then if we can pay off more, great. But starting a little more conservative, and then figuring in also obviously the new money for Dunham, which should be hitting our bank account tomorrow. And then we will pay out for the renewal, we'll pay off the last renewal loan on Thursday. We did save, going with the treasurer's office OMAP program, we did save roughly $5,800 in interest by being able to use that program. So for our bond itself, we had a 1% coupon and a 0.3 yield for the bond that we were, you know, for the services we were given for the note. So it does help to be able to utilize the OMAP program through the treasurer of state. Otherwise, our interest rate goes up. So I know last week I sent you the wrong one in the email, so I don't know if anyone looked over this over the last week to have more questions, even just about the report 52 and where we stood for the end of October. No.
No question. I looked it over, but no questions. Just the bottom line at the end of the year is in the black. That's what's
That's
important.
the goal. That is definitely the goal.
So I don't, you know, the big thing is gonna be what we get back for capital, you know, if anybody, if there is any capital expenditures, you know, from the service department per se. Rob hasn't really mentioned anything, I know the chief mentioned about the cars. But that is something we're gonna need to talk to him about too, see what we wanna do there.
Well, we also have, Mayor, those big street projects
Yeah,
next year, if we want to do that. And maybe Angela can put something together, just a very simple thing of what that would look like. if we-
Absolutely, yeah, I'll
if
take
we,
what Joe
you
gave
know,
us last time he
those
was here.
options.
Yeah.
that would be the only big capital that I see if we wanted to do some of the roads.
Mhm. Yeah, I'll have a conversation with Joe and we'll work out figures for estimates of what we think if we, you know, the things he mentioned, the horseshoe by Tulip.
Right.
And, yeah, for sure there, and then what else you guys
Yeah,
have?
well, that was the other, fix the water lines there, fix the water lines that we wanted to repay, and that's what that's about. We're still are getting quite a few breaks over there, and we are getting some grant money for the repair of those water lines.
Well, and the crack ceiling we were talking about for next year, correct?
Yes, and
Yeah.
that will go out again too. And he's gonna go out for that grant, he should receive that same grant for that. He's pretty confident about that. That's a small one. So, but we'll see where we're at, we'll get with Joe. So, that's gonna be a really digging into it, because we'll have the budgets, and, you know, we'll have their budgets in front of us. So we'll plan for that. So that's probably gonna be, that's the only thing do we want to start at 6, or do we want to still keep it at 7 for that Tuesday? I was gonna ask everybody that, I don't know. Does anybody have a hard time? Do you
It
want to?
doesn't, well, 7 would help me, but if anybody else wants to do 6, that's fine.
I'm fine either way.
All right, I'm gonna throw it out
I'm
there.
actually supposed to be working those 2 days, but I'm picking what I'm doing, so I'm gonna try to get off early and get
Okay.
into town.
Well, even if well, I know sometimes you do the access by computer too, Brian. So, why don't you throw it out at 6, and then I'll confirm that with everybody. The reason I say that is if we do the 4 interviews, I'll have to look back at what we did for planning. I think we did them 10 minutes apiece, and it seemed to work out just more than enough time
Yeah.
for that each individual to present themselves. So that would be 40 minutes, right there. And then, probably wouldn't be that long, but we allow everybody 10 minutes, and then we'll go into the budget. So I would do their interviews first, and then have, the department heads here to present their budgets if they're ready. And if one or two aren't ready, at least we'll do a couple. So, okay, see how everybody is with 6, and maybe we'll start at 6. That way by 7, we'd really kind of be starting our regular meeting. That'd give us time to get the applicants out for the zoning. Go from there, so that would be good to get that person, voted in December, at the council meeting, or if we have a special meeting the second week or something, if we wanted to get them voted in.
So do you only want COW first?
Yeah, the first meeting so far, we only have COW, we don't have any legislation as of right now, or anything like that.
Mayor, I missed the part where, what day are we going to have that 6 o'clock meeting? Next Tuesday?
A week from next Tuesday,
2
Denny.
weeks, yeah.
December
A week from
1st.
Okay,
Yeah, December 1st, our first COW meeting.
okay.
We have off next week.
Mayor Colgrove,
Yes.
just a question regarding legislation going into December. Are there any basically standard, repeated, routine pieces of legislation, anything that have to be
Appropriations for the budget,
before the end of the year?
that's pretty much it. Yeah, I'm gonna look to see if there's anything else for anybody. I mean, I think we're okay, everybody else's stuff.
We would have at the beginning of the year the reappointment of Rob and
That's the
Natalie.
beginning of the year,
Yeah, that would be,
correct.
they go into, Marty Mason, his contract, if we didn't want to, his automatically renews if we do nothing, okay? And I would like to renew it. I talked to Blair either last Thursday or the Thursday before, him and Nancy and the chief, and they're very comfortable with Marty. And John, who oversees them all, says he's doing a great job, and he got into his groove. And Blair said, Don, if you need anything from me, fine, or tell council, you can call me or whatever. So but we wouldn't have to do anything. He's got an automatic rollover in his contract. I'm glad you brought that up, because I was gonna bring that up in the first COW meeting, but it doesn't matter. So I would like to ask for your support, just to let it roll over, and then it would expire. It expires next year. There's an automatic renewal in it.
So for those who we need to take action in January, is it possible that in December we would have our first read, or those positions that we would renew in January?
Yeah, we can do that. I can tell you, I mean, the two positions is Rob and Natalie, and of course Marty, as I mentioned, and
Right.
I would like to see all three of them just be renewed.
We don't have anything in 21 with Don Sheehy's Chagrin Valley?
No, I think we did his. We'll take a look at his.
Okay.
Yeah, we could take a look at that, and we can get them on that meeting. There would be no problem with that. Yeah, there's no problem with that. That's a good suggestion. We can do that. Normally, we just do them under suspension, but we can do that. We can get them out.
And the same question would go for any other routine or repeated pieces of legislation that we would do in January or February, that we still have time now to get
Yeah,
to the table
absolutely. We don't
as first read on first
we don't
versus.
have a ton that comes up in January either, really.
No.
We
Well-
don't have much that comes up in January.
Angela, I think Ray means also, though, like when the tax budget has to be passed in July, I think it is.
Correct, yeah,
If
so
we
that was
start
done.
that, his thing is if we start that in, May or something, so we can get the 3 readings in instead of just everything.
Oh, absolutely,
Going
yeah. I
with
was telling the
suspension.
mayor, we can't keep passing everything emergency. I guess my question to
You
you
did
guys.
just say that, yeah.
Yeah, my question to you guys, because like I'm a little unfamiliar coming from Seven Hills, the fact that you guys usually only have one actual council meeting a month, if we're on a regular schedule, and the rest are COW, your COW counts as your readings.
No.
Right,
no,
so then
no.
how, so that's what I'm saying, so then you take 3 months to pass something if you're doing 3 readings, which I
Correct.
guess explains to me why so many things get passed emergency.
Right.
Right, John, does that make sense to you? How does,
Yeah, sure.
how does Bedford do it? Do you have more than one council?
2 a month.
2 a month. Yeah, it
They
just,
pass a
it
lot of
makes,
emergency
there's
too.
some, right, there's some things that it's hard to stretch that much, and some things that it could be, but.
Well, maybe
Yeah,
we could find a
not a
happy
problem.
medium with like some
Yeah,
things, we could
Yeah,
have a special
absolutely, I'll look
council.
and tag the things that
We
can
could have a
certainly be
special
done ahead of
council
time.
meeting for a second reading, you know, just after a COW meeting, that would be like 10 minutes. And then at the regular council meeting could be the third reading of it.
Right.
Yeah, oh, yeah. it's
But
not a
like certain
problem,
things,
that's
like,
just-
let's say like that appointment, there's no reason to have, you know, you interview them, we end up picking somebody, that's a decision, you know, that's,
Yeah.
those are things that, you know,
Right,
so. Well, I see no problem with that, we'll
Yeah.
do our best we can, and things that come up, they just come up, and you guys understand that, you know, we expect it, so.
Yeah, my thought is anything that we already know is reasonably foreseeable, that we know this is gonna happen, and that we can start that.
we can always start the discussion process in
Yeah.
COW as well, right? I mean, if it's something that's
The
gonna come
legislation.
down to, hey, we're waiting on a bid and we can't really vote on it until
Right.
we have that, then,
No,
yeah, the
completely
discussion can
understand
always
that.
start ahead.
Yeah, you know, that's a good idea too, we can always put it on the COW meeting.
Right,
With the legislation, doesn't necessarily, at least it's there too, I mean, which we always do at the time we vote on it, but
some of the time the legislation can't be
Yeah.
completed until that moment.
not either. Okay, yeah, not a problem, we'll make a point to try and do that. Okay. Not a problem.
I'll try to get like a summary of, you know, monthly things that are normally done in a month, like, which.
Yeah, I can put it
think
together
we've
for you.
got a rough draft of one, we never did finish it with all this COVID stuff, but we'll get it done, and
Mhm.
then we can try to anticipate things, that we can give more readings too, sure.
Well, just even to give the residents a little more notice of things going on instead of, you know, it gives them some time to be aware of.
Yeah, not a
Like
problem.
assessments are due a certain time, you know, like that sort of thing.
Anything else with report 52? What else did we need to do, Angela? We wanted to get the department heads in. I don't think besides, you know, the budget's probably gonna be pretty close to this one. We passed a pretty lean budget,
Right.
you know, for 2020.
The big differences you'll see will be that, like I said, we're going to record the anticipated, well, you'll see bond money in there. That won't be expended yet, obviously, until the start of next year. We will record anticipated revenue for reimbursement on Dunham Road, and any other grants that, we've gone out for, you know, that pretty confident we would be getting. And then also, you know, those expenses, you know, will be out there, so that, you know, that'll look scary to see the Dunham Road out there on the expense side, but the revenue will also be there as well as the anticipation of the grant money in the county, so,
Right.
yeah, I think a lot of our core expenses are gonna be in the road area.
Yeah, just the camera ticket revenue, I would still be conservative on because.
I'm always conservative on that, and I was today when I put money in for
Okay.
it, absolutely.
The
I believe
case's
this-
still pending with the Court of Appeal. I don't
Yeah.
anticipate an adverse ruling, but you never know.
And we're always, yeah, very conservative with that.
As a matter of fact, we've got, you know, we budgeted 200 this year. We've taken in, I want to say, taken in over 5 for sure. So I may have just put it up to 250, but I'm not moving past that needle just because it could be yanked at any
And we
time.
want the people to slow down, that's our goal.
Right, absolutely.
We're not gonna worry about that as,
Yeah, it's not our moneymaker.
no, far from it.
Yeah, the message is getting out, which is another reason we have lesser
Right.
revenue from it. Because people are slowing down.
Right.
Less people on the roadway because of the COVID stuff.
Right. That is a good thing. Yeah, I don't see anything else, Rob, it's not like last year, you know, we had the leafer, we had a few other, we had the trucks, the vehicles. with a few more expenses.
Our big dump truck, I think, would be the next wish list item, but
Right.
that may not be something that's gonna happen next year. Our dump is very old, so,
I know that was something Rob,
that's my
Talked
anticipation
about.
of what might come up.
right. And they've all been very good with knowing the direction, we kind of know with the COVID-19 and the pandemic, they've been very conservative. There's some things all departments kind of held off on for the year. Even more in line, which has been good.
Angela, I did have a question about that.
Yes.
We did have a couple of seasonal personnel in service, didn't we?
No,
I
we
thought
were
we
gonna
had.
budget for them, and then we ended up not being able to. I think Katie took that out, so we used some of the counselors from the park
Oh,
for
okay.
service.
Because I was gonna say, I know I saw some
Yeah,
younger.
counselors
Yeah.
crossed
Okay.
over.
All right, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yep, you got
Because I was
it.
wondering, I was like, we had 0 on that line, even though.
We did have 0 on that line, and
Budgeted
she had
for
a
it.
little bit of give in her line still too, and they had some time, so we,
Right, they painted the fire hydrants.
Right.
That was one of the things Rob wanted to get done. They painted the entrance signs, cleaned those up. They did some other light-duty painting jobs throughout the village, which should really actually help, instead of having his guys do that, or his guys focused on more, a lot of the bigger work, some of the sewer work, and some of the excavation, which they do a great job of that, more of the skilled trades. So.
do want to let them know about how we're sharing services right now for the Leafs with Oakwood.
No, that's, I mean, we've always share all the, this week we've had two, Rob had 2 employees, not available, so, one of the other communities, they shared some services, they lost their leafer, and so we helped with the leafer and shared some services, and it worked out well. And then we did share some more services with Oakwood we share their bucket truck, because the storm took down quite a few trees. So Rob used that and stuff, so, he has a very good relationship, just like the chief, with the surrounding communities to share and help each other. So that's been working out pretty good, so. But we had a nice new leafer to help them with, so it worked out. It worked out well, so. Yeah, it's been, the service department the last week and a half, as you know, it seems like all the leaves came down at one time. And so they had a couple of crews out. Rob actually filled in, helping out too, with the 2 gentlemen out. And then we got hit with the storm, and so this week too, has been very, very busy. But as always, we do a great job catering to the residents, get to the residents first.
They were also working Sunday.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, we had them out there, Rob had them out there Sunday, catching up on a lot of the leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, over the weekend. So, yeah, it's gone, well, we got great departments, great employees,
Yep.
and they do a great job of keeping the overtime to a minimum. But still, getting the job done for us and for our residents. Anything else with 52? A big thing with 52, just so the residents know too, that with the budget process, as you can see in the council meeting, we are going into executive session. This is the police contract, the collective bargaining agreement is up at the end of this year. So that is something that myself, the safety committee, and all council will be involved in. And it's a 3-year, we're looking to negotiate a 3-year contract with them. So that's a big part of the budget for the village and for us as administration and council to make a decision on. You know, we almost have to kind of get that ironed out to know where we're at with some of these other expenditures we have here, because it is a big piece with that. If, you know, with some of the negotiating going on. And we will, that's the purpose of, we're having the council meeting, and we will be going to executive session to talk about that. And that's something that allows us, executive session allows us to talk about collective bargaining. And we're actually, and Ray can speak to it a little bit, or do the motion, we're actually more in the discovery process of it. Just really getting a good feel for everything. So that's kind of thing, so hopefully, you know, a little bit more of that will be gone through too before the next COW meeting too. So it's a big year. Besides the budget, we have the collective bargaining agreement. We have COVID-19, which comes into big play with the CARES money, and Angela's done a great job with that, making sure the money we receive is being used in the proper places, and we're trying to do everything correctly. So, is everybody good with report 52 for now?
Yes.
And if you have any questions related to anything with the budget, feel free to, of course, call myself, but call Angela. Her brain, and she can answer.
Might be kicked over, but you're welcome to keep it. I do have a question, Mayor. Mr. Montello, I haven't been paying close attention this week. Has any legislation been put together to extend the December 1st date? Because as the way the legislation stood, we were only permitted to have our meetings live streamed through December 1st, or virtual. So that is something that I know they were looking to extend.
Not yet.
Not yet,
No.
okay.
I get a weekly bulletin from.
Yeah, so do I, yeah.
That one we get.
Yeah, we have, if I'm not mistaken, we have a phone call with the managers, city managers and mayors on Tuesday. But see, I thought it was amended to go to January something, but
I think it was.
we'll find
They're trying
out.
to amend it to say to the end of the emergency order, they're trying to, so there won't be a definite date on it, they just, until his order expires.
But we know it's
Our
gonna
order
happen.
expires December
But
31st.
it's a conversation.
So,
There's-
yeah, it's,
They're not, December 1st, they're not, they will definitely extend it before that, because we're right in the height of it again.
Because if he's had a ban on meetings in the public, you know, what do
The
you
last
do?
month, and all of a sudden, we got a,
Home
ban,
rule.
so, yeah, we'll be fine. But we'll look into that, find out about that.
we do have a resident comment that someone's microphone is picking up their paper shuffling, so we can just, I guess, maybe back your mics up a little bit. I don't know which one it is, so, I mean, could be mine even, I don't know.
Okay. All right, well, we're good with that then. We talked about the zoning. The zoning, I just will let them know, invite them. We'll give them 10 minutes. Do we want to, I know that, I think, didn't we have specific questions or whatever last time? I don't really feel, do we think we need to do that in this situation? I think we were we had quite a few interested parties for the planning commission. I think that's why we kind of streamlined it a little bit. How does everybody feel? And it seemed like we didn't really need to have it. We kind of asked them all the same questions anyways. We didn't really use that script.
I think it's better that you just let the conversation flow.
Some kind of-
I mean, I'm okay with that, if council's okay with that.
So you're envisioning, the applicants would present, and we would have an opportunity for follow-up questions? Is that
Yes,
right? Okay.
yes. I think, Ray, what we did last time, just, you guys, is that correct? Didn't we formulate some questions? Or was that for council? I can't- That was for planning, wasn't it? Yeah. And I don't think we need to do that. I think a good interview, you get a good feel, and that's what actually kind of, it morphed into that at the planning anyways. Everybody just kind of sold themselves. Okay. Then And what we'll do, just so everybody knows, and if the four interested parties are listening, what we did, remember, so it's good we're talking about it again. What we did for who goes first and who goes last, I had the office staff with the four names. We had a lot more that time, and pick a name out of the hat, and for first, second, third, and fourth, because that's really the only fair way to do it. So we'll do that same process there. You know, we'll have the office pick, and then the last one they pick will go fourth. The first one they pick goes first, second, third, fourth, the same process. Just so everybody's treated fairly, we'll do it that way, because most people want to go last. So, we'll do it that way. I think that's it for that. Everybody has a copy of the four applicants. Before we go into, I do have some other business. Natalie, I know all of us we've talked about it throughout the year this year, about the event center, and not only about some ways to make it, the physical part of it better as far as some signage and different things. We also briefly talked about the deposit, the rental of the apartment and the deposit. And we did, Gloria, myself, Natalie, and Carlene, and we had a meeting just talking about it, and wanted to bring it to everybody, and I think I did touch base, that we would like to raise the rental fee on the non-residents. For the residents, it would be all the same, but for non-residents, we'd like to raise the rental fee. And the reason is, we're just too low. And it's not covering some of the cleanup, it's not covering some of the cost. It's just, and we had a good feel for it, and we kept it there, and we still feel it will still be a good deal for people, and a good opportunity, a nice place. But at the same time, we feel we do have to raise it. So she kind of gave me, and I'm going to be able to, she just gave me a draft. I'll get you, everybody, a copy of it. The question, John, I guess, will be for you, whether or not we need legislation for it. That I wasn't sure if we actually need legislation to increase the rates on the event center, what we charge.
Is it in our ordinances, Mayor, what the rates are for?
Don't know that it is, and if I would like to also just check, because, we have a note on the building, and right now, obviously, we're not in some huge profit margin with that center, but we have to,
That's
be
right, that's
cautious.
the other issue
We have to
that
be
was
cautious
brought up.
Because, right, if we were to make too much on it, then we pay interest on that portion of the note. Also, the property exempt status on, the tax exempt status on the property for property taxes would come into play. So, not that I'm saying, again, we're probably not gonna make $1 million even with whatever we're raising it to, but let me just get limits for that as well.
Right.
And we don't currently have anything in legislation, Mr. Montello, about pricing.
The big thing was the increase of the security deposit. Because right now, for a current non-resident, the multi-purpose room, which is, the smaller room, a non-resident fee is $300 with a security deposit of $150. The banquet room, the larger room, the current non-resident room rental is $850, and the non-resident security deposit is $200. And what we have found out, a lot of times, the residents will, not residents, I should say, people will walk away from the security deposit, okay? And there's been times we have to get the carpets cleaned in there, and the cleaning of the carpet is more than the security deposit. Okay, and so they wanted to increase the security deposit to $450 on the large room and $300 on the smaller room. And the purpose is to, you get to a larger amount, people want that money back, but at the same time, we feel they'll take better care of it. And, we have a rule, no glitter, it's in the handbook. Next thing you know, there's glitter on everything. And everything's spelled out in the rules that every person gets that. So we just gotta just tighten it up a little bit. Overall, it's going well, but there's just some things. As far as the rental, and this is still talking about, because I don't even know if the large room is at $850 and she has a $150 increase. I don't even know if that's really enough. I was thinking a little more than that. I want council's opinion too. And the other room, the rental fee is $300. They were thinking $500. That's $200 increase. These increases are for all non-residents. And those still are very, very reasonable. The big thing is our problem has been something's broken and stuff, and people walk away, they don't care about the security deposit, but then we have to shell out more than the security deposit's not covering it. That's the problem. And it becomes also almost like a back and forth. Natalie and Carlene will take pictures, and then they're getting into an argue where they feel a lot of places put a higher security deposit, and people have a tendency to follow it knowing there's more money at stake getting back.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
in the agreement, is there anything that says about the trash outside also that parties are leaving?
No, they have to clean up inside. As far as like people leaving stuff in the parking lot, like someone's leaving and they leave it, no, I don't think there's, because most of them are at night.
But that's, the residents around there are getting the red
Right.
cups
No,
blown
that's
into
something
their
we talked
yards
about.
and things like that.
Right.
So maybe that should be something that the grounds have to be kept also.
Yeah, and it might be, I think it's overall the whole thing. And we've kind of changed that. We're trying to get the cleanup person, which we have after each event, because they have to wipe it down according to the guidelines and stuff. But we're trying to work that out a little bit too. There's a lot of tweaking going on with it, just to kind of get it in line now that we've had it a few years and have been renting it out. We've learned quite a bit, and some things that are working, things that aren't working. So I just wanted to bring this up. I'm going to find out if we need legislation for it. If not, we'll go over this again, and I just would ask for council's consensus, to agree, so we're all on the same page as far as the amounts. Yeah, go ahead, Gloria.
When we first started this, we were looking at the Hungarian church, what they were paying. Do we know what they are now, what their rates are?
No.
We didn't want to, theirs was 500, that we were doing 1,000, like, being a good neighbor type of thing. So do we know what, to check in to see what they're charging?
Well, we didn't want to be way lower than them. That was the thing. Being higher is not a problem. It was what we were worried about is being too low and not being fair to some of the other halls in our community.
Pause you for 1 minute.
Yes.
The memory's full on the recorder. I'm gonna run to my office and clear some things out.
Yeah, that's
So,
fine.
sorry.
Do you want to take just a short recess?
Yeah.
Is that appropriate, John?
Sure. Well, why can't, we can still get the,
You can, but then I gotta go between two things to send the minutes over.
okay.
It's a little trickier doing it from the DVD. If you don't mind
Okay.
just waiting like 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Well, as far residents watching and non-residents anybody watching, our recorder's filled for, records our voices that we use for the minutes and stuff. So we're gonna take just a short recess. We'll stay live and just wait a couple minutes. That'll be the best. So you just stay on and you can just wait.
It's budget for a new recorder. A little bigger one.
No, does anybody want a water? Yeah, let me grab some waters. There you go. That's
That's an oldie, little one she gets there.
How many people are watching? 13. Wow. I could hear a tap dance and, you know.
I was gonna see if you could do that, Brian.
What was the last time there, you know?
That,
What was the
uh,
last time? You
I
know,
don't see
it.
Laura, did you want one?
Thank
Maybe.
you. 6, 7, yeah.
Brady, good?
Thank you. Thank you.
Denny, you want one? Good?
Maybe, you know.
Thank you, Don.
Okay.
Um,
I'll throw it up here in case somebody wants it.
last week, I was
Anybody
on
want a
at,
pop or something? I'm gonna go out here myself something.
I was on at 7 o'clock, but I was on my phone,
Maybe I'll-
running to my iPad,
I had enough sugar. today.
and I could get the meeting,
Stuff that was-
but I could not, there was no prompt on there that I could find to text in. And I know you have to sign in with your Google account, but, and I have an Android phone. Huh?
You have to have it upright like this, you can't have it full screen, and then you should have the chat underneath.
I couldn't find it. One of these days I'll have to play around with that and see, because I could not find it. I wanted to tell Angela that I was listening, that I was there, and I just couldn't. And the other thing that I did find, which is that there's nothing you can do about it, but when we go live like that, I had actually my iPad here and my phone there, and I actually turned the volume down on my iPad because the phone was, through the cell service, I was getting the audio sooner than I was through the internet. It was, and the video actually too. I was getting it all faster, there was a delay. So when Angela was, taking a roll call or whatever, I was hitting yes way in the beginning, so there wouldn't be that lag. I wonder if there's something that we can do.
Should be okay. Sorry, there's so many old files I have. We're going for back out.
Yeah,
So I hear you speaking, I hear it close up to your.
right.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. Okay. Everybody, we're back.
Yep.
We're all ready. We're good. Sarah's still on and everything? Good. That was the other thing we talked about. I had that for the rentals.
So Mayor?
Yes.
Concerning that rec facility, as far as the rentals, we had talked a few months ago about the properties abutting that and light shading and things like that. Has any movement been on that front as far as looking into that stuff? Maybe come up with someone?
Signs, Rob said, I think he ordered. They were looking at signage, just as far as right now, as far as the driveways. Lighting, there was, that I'll have to ask him about, okay? I know I talked to Natalie today because I was concerned. As we know, starting today, the governor put in place different orders concerning banquet halls, funerals, weddings, and she's aware of it. They were getting the order. We had very limited for this month. No weddings, I think, for this month or the rest of this month or next month, weddings-wise. There might have been a shower or something like that. So they're aware of that, and with the orders, and when somebody does call to rent it, we do disclose that, it could change, that we follow the governor's orders, and there's no promises made. The governor made an order that starting today, there's no dance can't have a buffet, even if it's served by the caterer. You have to be sitting down and stuff. So we have to follow all those, you know. It doesn't matter that they put their deposit in, it's, you know, unfortunately, but that's just how it is. So we do tell everybody that calls that they have to, you know, if it changes, your event changes according to the governor's order. So, but it seems a lot of things have been canceled too because of that.
And Mr. Mayor?
So, but they follow that. Natalie and Carly do a great job of following that. Yes.
When we had talked about that before, we also talked about some possible foliage, trees or bushes or tall grass.
Yeah, by Joe
to,
Chuck's
like-
house, that, Rob's supposed to be getting some quotes on that, yeah.
I mean, I know coming at the end of November, we're not gonna be planting right now, but it was just,
No, we're supposed to get some quotes on that, and that would be, something we'll talk about in the budget too. For Rob. So, I mean, I don't wanna go and get, you know, bushes that are this big and, you know, takes 10 years to give a buffer. We wanna get something right away, you know, some kind of either fence or some large,
well, that's what I was thinking, like that real tall pampas grass even.
yeah.
You know, that could, some of that stuff can grow 6 foot high and
But
it,
they need it all year though, if we get, they
That's true.
they really do need it all year. 'Cause that place is used all year and cars go out. He's got some good ideas, him and Joe have looked at it, and they got some ideas moving
Okay.
forward there, so. But that will be one of the things we'll talk about in the budget too, the amount, especially the fence, it's a little more expensive. They got a kind of a combination of things. Yeah, I just want to bring that up. Natalie gave us that. What else do we have here? I don't know, Brian, if you wanted to talk about, since we probably have most of the residents, I know you and Rob, I talked to Rob today, I know he's sent us, he's waiting for something about, from Kimball about the recycling. I didn't know if you wanted to touch base on that at all, or?
Oh, well, thank you. I just had a question, just from, a couple questions, and Rob, as you said, was looking into it, so, to be continued, because, the Kimball people, the manager at Kimball is gonna write, an email, Rob.
Correct,
saying-
that is correct, that's what he
and
requested.
explain it, but what the deal is, I'm sure you've all heard, and the residents have heard either on the news or through the newspaper or whatever, that, like Cleveland, for their recyclables, they were caught, just dumping everything into one big pile. And, you know, in one big, you know, taking it to the trash dump. And I'm sure other places are doing that. Not saying that Kimball is, but other places I'm sure are. And part of it is due to, as we discussed a few months ago with our upcoming contract extension, that China is, they are the people or the place that are taking our recyclables. And I guess they don't want to take them, or they're charging more, there's something to do with that. And these facilities are having a difficult time with their recyclables. So that begs the question, in our garbage contract, or our refuse contract, I should say, are we paying for something that we aren't getting? Are they putting everything into one trash heap? If so, should we be getting money back for something? And I know that, you know, they could say, well, we're still picking it up, but we have a lot of seniors and even younger people. We have 2 garbage cans. Do we need to put, if they're not separating them, do we need to put them in 2 different garbage cans? So there were several questions that I had, and I did write the mayor, and I wrote Rob, and copied Mary as the council president. And Rob wrote back today that he did get in touch with the manager at Kimball, and
Not Don Johnson,
Yeah, and.
not the Don Johnson.
From Miami
Right,
Vice.
right.
Movie for a while.
He's going to put together an email that tells us exactly what they do with it. He said they are recycling. So, that allays my concerns, you know.
Right.
But, when I get that email, what I'd like to do, Rob's good at this, he'll probably have it to us within a couple days, I imagine. So maybe the next meeting, if the email's not too long, I'll read it just so residents can know.
And depending, we kind of did mention to him, because he said he's going to outline, Don Johnson said he would outline their process
Right.
as in the past. Because of, you know, the media and what, see, we thought if we outlined something nice, maybe we'll be able to get it in the journal. If we don't get it in the journal this one, maybe we get it in, you know, in January, but we're hoping, we have to get the journal done by the end of this week, because as you know, not the end of this week, yeah, end of this week, because next week is a short week. You know, we got Thanksgiving and then you got Friday, so trying to get the journal in, the end of this week. But according to, like what Mr. Spitznagel said, he's saying their process is still the same. So, yeah, whether you read it in the record, of course, that too, and then if we get something, maybe we'll be able to get it. So I know I didn't know if you wanted to bring that up now or whatever, but with that said, and with other people have called here, just to say, you know, we hope that's not happening here. So,
I do know that most cities, when they chose to start recycling, was it because it offset their trash cost actually, because that's less pounds in the trash. So if anything, if they could no longer take our items, that means that our trash price is probably going to go up
Right.
to dump it all into one can anyway, so.
right. But we want to do the right thing.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're hoping they're still recycling as much as we
I'm
can.
at my own door watching people every week too, because it's 2 trucks, but I'm always like, where'd they dump that?
Right.
They take 2 cans at once. We actually.
I think that's the only thing I had. I don't know if anybody wants to give some reports, they can give them in the council meeting, where we usually give our, you know, our reports. I don't know if there was any other business anybody else has. If not, we can adjourn and then go into the regular council meeting. And I have a motion for adjournment.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for adjournment of the COW meeting of November 17th, 2020.
Second?
Vote on the motion.
Councilman Linville,
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Tulowski,
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel,
Yes.
Councilman Whedon.
Yes.
Okay. Meeting adjourned at 8:06 PM.
8:06.
Okay. Does anybody need to go to the restroom or anything before we go into our council meeting?
Mr. Whedon, did you print what I gave you, or do you need me to print it?
I-
What I
I-
sent? Oh,
I did not.
okay, I'm gonna print that.
Well, hang on, I think
Did
I,
you print it? You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, I did print that.
Okay, as long as it's-
Okay. Find it here, because I separated everything too.
Does anyone need a water or anything? Sarah, are you okay? Can you move on?
I'll just reach over and grab it.
I'm just gonna print it this
That's
afternoon.
okay. I got my flu
Yeah.
shot.
I can go grab it, probably by the time let's see, wait a minute.
Did you get a COVID shot?
No, flu shot.
That's it.
Oh, yeah, here you go.
Okay. All right.
Right, here you go. No problem. Okay, everybody ready for the, make sure I'm ready, for the the regular council meeting? Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody to the regular council meeting of the Village of Walton Hills, Tuesday, November 17th, 2020, at 8:08 PM. This meeting is being live streamed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We are following substitute House Bill 197 provisions that relate to public meetings and hearings during the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, we call to order. Item 2, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. With that, I'd like to take a moment of silence for our first responders and our healthcare workers through this COVID-19 pandemic, and also for resident Annette Danko, who passed in September.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Roll call?
Councilman Linville,
Present.
Councilwoman Allen,
Here.
Councilwoman Churlowski,
Here.
Councilman Spitznagel,
Here.
Councilman Whedon.
Here.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Council President Mary Brenner Miller from the meeting this evening.
Second.
Second by Dave Linville.
Councilman Linville,
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Churlowski,
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel,
Yes.
Councilman Whedon.
Okay.
Yes.
Motion passed. Mary's excused, 5-0, and all of council, of course, present, except for Mary Brenner Miller, along with our fiscal officer, Angela Reve, and John Montello, our law solicitor, are here. Okay. Item 5, I have a motion of council meeting minutes.
Mayor Colgraf,
Yes.
I move that we would adopt special council meeting minutes for September 8th, 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gloria.
Councilman Linville,
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Churlowski,
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel,
Yes.
Councilman Whedon.
Yes.
Okay, minutes passed, 5-0.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I'd like to make an amendment to the regular council meeting minutes of September 15th.
Go ahead.
okay.
It's the second paragraph. One of the residents that passed away, her name is misspelled. It's Myrna Goodson White. It should be Myrna.
Okay.
Okay, let's vote on that amendment. Yeah, just go.
Okay. Councilman Linville,
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Churlowski,
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel,
Yes.
Councilman Whedon.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to accept the regular council meeting minutes of September 15th, 2020 with the amendment.
Great, is there a second?
Second.
Second by
Councilman Linville,
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Churlowski,
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel,
Yes.
Councilman Whedon.
Yes.
Okay, minutes passed, 5-0. Is there a motion for the October 20th?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Souza.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the regular council meeting minutes for October 20th, 2020.
Second.
Second by Mr. Linville.
Councilman Linville,
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Churlowski,
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel,
Yes.
Councilman Whedon.
Yes.
Okay, minutes passed, 5-0. Is there a motion for the November 10th
Mr. Mayor,
meeting minutes? Gloria Churlowski.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the special council meeting minutes of November 10th, 2020.
Second.
Second by Mr. Whedon.
Councilman Linville,
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Churlowski,
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel,
Yes.
Councilman Whedon.
Yes.
Okay, minutes passed, 5-0. Thank you, everybody. Okay, mayor's report. Get that straight here. Have the mayor's court report here. Well, we'll do the mayor's Walton Hills Police Department issued 197 citations in the month of September. The predominant violation was speeding with 75 citations, followed by 16 citations written for driving under suspension and 11 citations for tinted windows. There was 7 arrests for driving while under the influence of alcohol and drugs. And then the court report. Court report for October here. For the month of October was $20,357.20. Year-to-date, $163,325.32. Last year to date was $241,079.54. So the court is down about $80,000 year-to-date. Did anybody want to do any reports at this, other reports at this time?
Yes, Mayor, if I may.
Yes, Mr. Whedon.
Thank you, Mayor Colgrath, and thank you for the report that you just read. I'm going to share a little more information on some of the, in particular, offenses that occurred over the last month. And this is in response so that I can provide an answer, as I had promised a resident. I received an email, a personal email, on October 30th from one of our residents, Mr. Denny Harkai, and he had 4 specific questions related to, 3 were related to the new ordinance that the Village of Walton Hills adopted, declaring that driving and talking on a cell phone is a primary offense in Walton Hills. And the questions basically wanted to know, one question was, since the law has been in place, how many drivers have been stopped for the offense, how many drivers have been cited for the offense, and how many drivers have been issued formal warning for this offense. And doing my due diligence and out of respect to all of the departments, on the same day that I received the questions, I contacted our police department, and fortunately for our chief, he was enjoying some days off on vacation. So in an attempt to do my due diligence as an elected official to provide accurate and responsible answers to these questions, it was decided that we would wait until the chief comes back from his time off and allow the chief to do his due diligence and provide the answers to these questions. So I have some of those answers tonight, and I want to say that the first question, since the law has been in place, how many drivers have been stopped for this offense? And I don't want to quote the chief, but in a general sense, the chief says there's no record of how many people are actually stopped for an offense unless there's an actual citation issue. Also, similarly, the question about how many drivers have been issued a formal warning for this offense. There's no record of formal warnings. The village does not necessarily provide formal warnings. If our officers use their discretion in the course of doing their duty and doing a great job. So I want to share some other details on the offenses that our officers have cited drivers. And when you hear this list, I'm not going to read it in its entirety. I think it shares, in my opinion, it shares just how attentive our officers are. And I'm saying that to say that if there's anyone that is driving using a cell phone, I think our officers would, they would respond appropriately. We have at least 5 individuals that were cited in the month of October for traffic control lights, 4 individuals for passing left of center. We have some who were cited for obstructed view, driving while with a temporary permit, without a licensed driver in the car, fictitious plates, hit, skip, leaving a scene, unsafe vehicle, faulty exhaust, obstructed view, and there's many others. And I wanted to share those because I honestly do believe it indicates that our officers are very attentive to what's going on in the vehicles that are moving through our community. So the answer to the question, the third question regarding how many drivers have been cited for this offense since the law has gone into effect, or the ordinance in effect in Walton Hills, through October, there had not been any citations for that particular offense of using a cell phone while driving. However, since we just received information during the month of November, one individual has been cited. So again, Mr. Harkai, as I promised in the email, I responded to your email. I don't know if he's watching, but I responded to Mr. Harkai's email the same day he asked the question, and I promised him that I would answer it. During the course of our meeting tonight, this public information, I believe, this is the right forum to share this type of public information. Finally, there's another question Mr. Harkai wanted to know, in a general sense, what is our committee doing these days? And our primary focus over the last month or so has been, as the mayor commented on during the committee of the whole meeting, is preparing for the police contract negotiations. That is contract that expires at the end of the month. Also, another item of importance during the month of October, September, October, we were focused on increasing our protection for the village under the around cybersecurity. Our insurance renewal policy went into effect on November 1st, and we were successful in including cybersecurity protection, something that we did not have in the past. And even since that time has occurred, there has been an attempt at someone attacking our system or getting into our system. So I just want to say to Mr. Harkai, I hope this answers your questions, and thank you for asking the questions. And thank you for sharing this portion of your report, Mayor Coldegrath.
Anybody else have any reports? I know last month we gave their economic development report. Gloria gave a rec report. Neither one has changed much there. We're hoping things keep moving on the economic development part with our Ford plant. And as far as recreation, the items that are in the journal, but with that, those, and with the governor, what the governor talked about today, we're tentatively hoping to have those events. We will follow the governor's order as we move closer to them. Hopefully we can go through with our tree lighting and our Santa delivery, but we will follow the orders of the governor relating to those. So our main goal is to keep everybody safe in the village, but at the same time try to make things as normal as possible. We're going to continue to do that. I don't have a little bit of an update. You guys, I did email everybody the Dunham Road update. It is on our webpage. It is on our Facebook page. The letter that all council received from Joe Gelati.
Yep.
So I could read that in record, or if somebody else wanted to read in record, we could do that. I can give it. I have it with me. Would you guys like me to read it?
Mayor, did you post the detour route map also?
No, the reason we didn't post the detour route yet is because we kind of wanted to wait till we got closer to the project.
Okay, sure.
because if things change with that, you know, we don't want to be fielding, that's a tentative plan, it probably will be the plan, but we thought we'll wait close to the project since it looks like, as we know, they're not going to start it till January 4th. So right now, they just posted that, this updated paragraph for Mr. Gelati on the Facebook page and webpage.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
is there going to be any provisions for our residents on that section of Dunham Road in regards to EMS? Like, can we have calls, I'm automatically diverted to the Maple Heights station there? It's an ambulance to try to go through that detour to get to somebody on Ryan or Sealy that's an extended amount of time.
as far as, from what we understand, they're reviewing the route, okay, and they'll probably run the route right, you know, our ambulance service right here in the village, the Oakwood service right out of here, which is probably even, might even be even just as close as the Maple, but, so they'll run it and they'll see, because it has to be in their time.
Right, it's just Maple Heights has a station that's just on the other side of Rockside Road
Right.
on Dunham. So, you know, heart attack, things like that, you know, minutes matter. So that's why I was just
Right.
wondering, can we maybe look into some sort of mutual aid during the time period with them?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow up with them on that, but we've talked a little bit about that even with the chief, and some of it is, our police can run interference too, in other words, block the road and get them there too. And so, we'll see. I guess as of right now, they don't view it as a problem, but, you know, that's something we're looking into.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Mr.
appreciate
Mayor?
that, yeah.
The letter said the traffic's gonna run southbound,
Correct.
throughout this whole thing. So, I'm sure during the day, is this gonna be a 24-hour, are they gonna be working on this thing 24 hours a day till it's done? Like 3 different crews or shifts?
That would be another question I'd have to ask.
Are they
I'm
gonna
not
have-
sure about if they're gonna go 24.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, my question is with that traffic, how are they going to keep the traffic running southbound, only during that time period like during the night?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Those are the questions I can bring Joe into.
I don't know.
Right, and that's their responsibility. We
For
can bring
signage.
Joe into that as we get closer to the project.
Okay.
Really just kind of wanted to get the time frame out there and stuff. They're responsible. We are not responsible for the part of the contract was for them to be responsible for the project,
Right.
for the traffic flow. You know, whether they have flaggers, they use that service.
Right.
You know, that's gonna be their responsibility. We'll oversee it, you know, I expect Rob and Joe to make sure it's happening, you know, and that our residents aren't, or anybody, and our EMS, like Jennifer brought up, is maintained.
Right.
But
Unless
that,
they just have the
we're paying
signs,
for that.
road closed northbound. I
Yeah,
don't know.
we are paying for that,
Yeah.
for them to manage the traffic. So.
Okay, thank you.
But as we get closer, we'll keep everybody informed, and also probably have Joe come in, you know, have him come in the second COW meeting, the last one in, you know, in December there, in the middle of December, because then it will be just around the corner, right after the holidays. I think it kind of worked out better starting after the holidays, especially for the residents too and stuff. You know, things won't be tore up when they're spending their time with their families and stuff, so. Because it's not gonna be fun for anybody that lives on that road, it's just not. But in the end, it should be nice, and that's gonna be the bottom line in the end, so. So I'll just say this, what we understand, and what we do know, the construction, the Dunham Road reconstruction project is scheduled to begin on January 4th, 2021, and the work is scheduled to be completed by June 11th, 2021. As you know, Fabrizi Trucking and Paving Incorporated will be the contractor performing the work. The existing pavement will be reconstructed to provide a new driving surface. Also, the pavement will be widened to accommodate new bike lanes in each direction. When complete, the bike lanes will connect Dunham Park and Maple Heights to the existing bike lanes on Tinkers Creek Road, which leads to the popular Ohio and Erie Canal Tow Path Trail. This work will take place on Dunham Road, between Turney Road and Gorge Parkway, as well as a small part of Tinkers Creek, the part that the village owns of Tinkers Creek. I mean, Tinkers Creek that is in the village of Walton. During the construction period, Dunham Road will be restricted to southbound traffic only. All northbound traffic will be required to use the sign detour route as shown on the attached map. And that's what Councilwoman Jennifer Allen is referring to about the EMS, about only being allowed to go southbound, so. We will make sure that our services are provided to them just as well, and are very safe. So I'll get an update for everybody on that too. Okay. Let's see here. That's all I have for any old and new business. Anybody else have anything? Before I ask for a motion. Okay, is there a motion to go into executive session?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Spitznagel.
I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to prepare for collective bargaining strategy by Division G4 of Section 121.22 of the revised code.
Second.
Second by Mr. Linville.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Chulowski?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel?
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, before we go into executive session, I just want to let the residents know and anybody watching, when we reconvene, we have no legislation. We won't be discussing anything. We'll just reconvene and then adjourn the meeting. At this time, I would like to wish the residents and anybody watching and everybody here a very happy Thanksgiving. I'm sure council feels the same way if they want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving too, and hope to see everybody at our next meeting, and just stay safe and stay healthy. Does anybody have any?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy?
Stay safe.
Happy small crowd Thanksgiving.
Stay.
Okay, we will go into executive session. Already the motion was passed. Yeah, we're staying in here. We're gonna stay in here. Yeah. We're back from an executive, okay?
I'm sure this thing's going, it takes a second. Go ahead.
We're back from executive session. Can we have a motion to reconvene?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to reconvene from executive session.
Second.
Second by Mr. Linville.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Chulowski?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel?
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, we are reconvened at 9:34. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Chulowski?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel?
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, meeting adjourned at 9:35.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Nice
Have a nice weekend, nice evening, stay healthy.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
To all.